Hello everybody, Dimitri Chambers here. Like it or not, believe it or not, like it or not, ready or not, we are in the midst of a worldwide health crisis. And I thought that I would impart on you some of my best thinking about living through and living in a crisis. The year was 2005. The doctor tells me, your wife is very sick. It's not going to get better. Get ready, because this is your reality. Immediately, I became a caregiver for my wife, Melanie Chambers, and I had to learn how to live in and through our crisis. I did not want to be there. And that's one of the things about crisis. You don't want to be there, but you're there. So believe it or not, that is your reality. From 2005 to about 12 or 13, 14 maybe, because you lose time, you lose track of time sometimes when you're in a crisis. But I lived through life-threatening hospitalization with Melanie, in and out of the hospital, in and out of emergency care, and dealing with that on a day-to-day basis. So I'm going to take some time to talk to you about what I learned as I learned how to deal with a personal crisis for my family. The first thing I want to tell you is that you're not alone. There were many, many nights, many weeks that I spent in hospital ICU units with my wife, living in a hospital ICU waiting room. The one thing I noticed, that I was not alone. There were other people going through similar crisis. You need to know that you're not alone. The second thing that I'll tell you is, as I tell you how to deal with your crisis, is that you need to put everybody around you ahead of yourself. And I really mean that. If you are married, you put your spouse ahead of you. If you're a parent, you put your children ahead of you. If you own a business, you put your customers, your clients ahead of you. I happen to be an attorney. I put my clients ahead of me. You put your business partners ahead of you. Now here's where it gets kind of challenging. You're driving down the road, someone next to you, someone driving next to you, they want your lane. Let them have it. Put that person ahead of you. What you'll find is that when you put others ahead of you, it gives you strength to get through the crisis. And that's what your job is to put others ahead of you. Serve wholeheartedly. The next thing I'll tell you is learn to live in the moment. Don't worry about next year. Don't worry about next week. Everything is right now, and you're putting people ahead of you. You're serving others ahead of you, not tomorrow, right now. And when tomorrow becomes today, and when today becomes right now, you keep doing that. You wake up every day and you serve wholeheartedly. I had to learn how to use technology, video conferencing, telephone conferencing, using the cloud to communicate with my clients, with email and transferring electronic files. I literally lived out of my trunk, basically spending the night back and forth to Dallas and Houston, sometimes up in Boston, in and out of various hospitals. Here's what you need to understand, is that just because you're in a crisis does not mean that your responsibilities go away. I was still dad. At the time, our children, when it started, they were about 8 and 10. Now they're 25, 26. But I remember having to be dad in the crisis. I remember having to be law partner in the crisis. In your situation, wherever you find yourself, remember that your responsibilities do not go away, even though you're in the crisis. So what do? You wake up every day and you serve wholeheartedly. I'll say this, that I learned that life is precious. I've seen many people lose loved ones while we were sitting in the ICU waiting room. We all sitting there, all of a sudden, over the intercom, they call code blue or code red, depending on the hospital, depending on the situation. And maybe a person that I've been sitting next to for a week or so, they lost a loved one. What I learned from me, and as I lived through this with my wife, Melanie, you don't know where your next minute is coming from. You don't know what's going to happen in your next moment. So right now, you love those around you wholeheartedly. So here's what I learned, and here's what I'll leave with you. I don't know where my life is going to end, but I know one thing, that I have complete control over the here and now. So as a husband, I'm going to love my wife with everything I have right here and right now. As a father, I'm going to love my children right here, right now. As a lawyer, as a business owner, I'm going to love my clients, serve them right here and right now. There was one time when I was in the hospital with my wife. We were in the emergency room. She was fighting for her life. But because I had promised a client that I would be there for her in a tough negotiation situation, I was on the phone with the client, helping her to negotiate this very difficult partnership agreement. And I was also giving instructions to the doctors about what they needed to do to get my wife back to breathing and get her back on her feet. Crises do not come in nice packages. Neither do your responsibilities go away when you have a crisis. Do the best you can. Wake up and realize that love never fails. Dimitri Chambers here. Here's wishing you the best. Give me a call if I can help you.